You've been here from the start of this road. You carry me through some pretty bad times. Even when I fell down, you pick me up. Now I'm standing on the mountain and give you praise.
No situation is permanent. Every situation that you go through is trying to prepare you for greater times to come. Hello Zimbabwe, welcome to Rock Bottom, a show that is designed to motivate, inspire and change through one's testimony. On today's show, I have a veteran broadcaster in my own right. He's a veteran. His name is Napoleon Nyanhi. Did I get that right? Nyanhi, Napoleon Nyanhi. Hi sir, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here.
So basically the show is a show that is just designed to motivate through one's testimony. For those who really don't know who Napster is, can you please tell Zimbabwe who is Napster?
Okay, my name is Napoleon Nyanhi, born in 1984, that makes me 35. I am Napster as well. Napster, which is a nickname that I got when I started my work in radio. But background-wise, I was born in Harare. Grew up in Harare, went to school in Harare, but went to school, primary school in Harare. Then high school, I went to St. John's Chikwaka, and then university, I went to Africa University Kwamtare, which were very good experiences. Sometimes exposure yangonaka.
So basically how many years have you been doing broadcasting?
I've been broadcasting since 2012. That was in radio. However, I did TV production for 5 years before that, which were programs that we were making for ZBC, Drugu Church Celebration Church. So we used to have a program that used to air on ZBC, and that's the program that we used to produce and edit, etc. So that was also some kind of involvement, but in terms of kuita in front of the microphone or camera 2012. So that's 8 years now.
How has been the journey?
It's been a great journey. It's very exciting. I mean, you would know. Broadcasting is a very exciting industry. It's very innovative, so there's always something new every time. You know, if you, for example, your job, you know, where you interview people, you talk to people all the time. There's always something new. There's always some new inspiration. There's always some new challenge. So I've enjoyed my journey in broadcasting. Absolutely.
Well, as I know the zeal that comes when one is in a creative space. For you, where do you get the ideas? Because I know just being in a booth for 3 hours and you're alone and you're supposed to be laughing and assuming that people are listening and assuming that they're paying attention to what you're saying. Where do you get all that?
Kuna nezvipo zvinobva kuna Mwari. And andifunga kuti kana munhu une chipo chinobva kuna Mwari unofana kunyara kuti ndine chipo. Ndine chipo chandakapiwa naMwari chekutaura. Ne kufunga zvinhu kubatanidza zvinhu faster mupfungwa dzangu. So there is that creativity that I believe is God given. Yes, kune kumwe kwandisingakwanisiwo zvafane kuma number zvinonetsa. But in terms of nyaya dzekutaura, I always tell my daughter, whenever she tells me, you know, I was in class, I was in front of people and yeah, I was scared, I always tell her, it's in your blood, my dear. It's in your blood. It will come. You are a confident young woman. When it comes to talking, you have no problem. But
in your DNA.
Speaking in front of people will never be an issue. It's in your blood. Don't worry. It will come. So I believe it's God-given.
When picking the profession, did you have problems in doing that? Because you know, we're coming from an environment where our parents, they failed their dreams. They want us to live their dreams. You were just talking about your daughter, then it took me there. Like, my parents wanted me to be a lawyer because probably in their mind a lawyer was the best profession. But I'm like, no, imagine I'll be a lousy lawyer in a court. So did you have problems in that?
I did not pick my profession picked me, in the sense that I wanted to be an accountant. The same thing where, because maybe I met someone when I was younger who was an accountant, I thought it was cool to be a chartered accountant. She cheated at my articles, so that's what I wanted to do, but I was terrible at accounting. Upper six, I barely made it through. I think ndakaita C accounts ndoigasiyana nayo mlife
Makangopoya.
and then at university I think the first year we're generalizing in the faculty that I was in, and then in second year ndopo waizopionzi iwe wawe accounts iwe wawe economics iwe wawe marketing and such, and then I failed to make it into the accounts class because accounts zangu zisina kushika pa level hiyo. Then I was given economics and economics worse, so I opted for marketing, and I found myself flourishing big time there. Then I realized that's what I should have been doing all along. So ndaita marketing ndapedza ndikati let me do 1 year of volunteering before I get into full-time employment. Vanenda kuchechi ndikati pama department yese kuchechi where can I volunteer? I thought the TV department seems to be interesting, kune makamera kune chichi kune chita zvinhu zvinoshamisira ndikandende ikoko kune ngoda zvinhu, and yet I found myself there flourishing again. It's something that was in my blood. I didn't even know that my father in the 80s used to be in movies, he used to be on radio, I didn't even know it because my father is a very quiet, very reserved person. He'd never told me, but I found myself there. It's seemingly by default. And then from there, MC Amichato Nichichi, Teach Matthias meets me one day when I'm emceeing a wedding. He says, we've got an audition at some point, you should come. I go there, I find myself, at a radio station. And then, that's how it all unfolded.
So, in other words, life has its own way of finding you. Yeah. No matter how much you try and run away, you become like a Jonah. You will always end up in Nineveh. So, what really I want to understand is when you're in your creative sphere, when you're in your creative sphere, what drives Napster? What drives Napoleon?
To be honest, big.
Do you know you're one frank person who really comes up and say it's all about the money?
It's not all about the money, but the money is a great motivating factor because I've got children, I've got a family, I need to have a hope and a future for them. And they look to me. For them, life in Zimbabwe is fantastic.
They don't
because daddy has it all figured out.
Yeah.
So I have to constantly on a daily basis figure it out. I assure you that is more than half the inspiration for my creativity.
Okay, hang it right there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on our second segment.
You've been here from the start of this road. You carry me. You've been here from the start of this road.
You're still watching Rock Bottom with Zolile Makeleni, and I have a broadcaster with me, Napster, as you might know him, as he explains his life, his journey to becoming this broadcaster. Before we went on the break, you were talking about how money really helps or really makes you, really creates a comfortable environment when you're in a creative zone. People try to run away from the fact that as much as you love doing what you do, you should be paid for what you do.
Absolutely.
Have you ever come across a challenge whereby people just want your presence, but no one is willing to give a check for your presence?
That always happens. It happens a lot, especially in creative industries. Because people always mention that word, exposure.
Yeah.
We'll pay you with exposure. There will be CEOs there, so you should just come and do it for free so that they see you. There's always a cost-benefit analysis that you have to go through to say, the people that are they worth the time that I'm going to give? And are they worth the investment that I've made in my brand, into my brand? So that's something that people don't remember to pay you for. You're not paying me for the 1 hour that I'm coming to present or the script that I'm writing for you. You are paying me for the 10 years that I've spent investing in the talent or in the skill that I now have,
that you are acknowledging
and that you are now looking for. So there is a lot of that, but it's you have to continuously state your value.
Do you know, I when you talked about stating the value, one man told me that a pay slip is an estimate of your value.
Yeah.
So it's rude, But if you see your payslip, that's how much you're worth. So if you're not happy with what you see, invest in yourself to understand whoever acknowledges you, they should come with a fair payslip.
Yeah.
What do you think should be done in our creative industry for people to start appreciating, let's say, an exchange of services? Because this is exchange of services. They think, no, you're just doing it for fun. No, like you're saying, exposure. No, I'm giving you a service, which you should pay for it. You want to add value to your event. That's why you're asking for my services. Because you know, if I come to an event, it's going to have value. You're going to attract the right crowd that you
Absolutely.
want. So pay for it. What do you think should be done?
It's a myriad of issues. There are a lot of things that go into that. The easiest one to talk about is the economy. The Zimbabwean economy is not very easy right now, and it's not a good enabling space for the arts and for us to be paid for our services. It's easier to pay for a product, but the service is more difficult to quantify. So it's important for our creatives, let me start on that side, for the creatives to, yes, state their value, but also work it out and understand that every time they give their services either for free or for a heavily discounted price, they are also affecting the industry. The next person that's going to come is going to struggle to state their value because
More like you're shooting yourself in the foot.
yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's need to balance it because we still need to survive, and the economy does not have enough money to go around to pay fat checks. So so you have to balance it.
On that, my worry is we have, let's say, music industry whereby an international act is paid $60,000 cash and 30,000 upfront, 30,000 the moment they land. But you get our local artists getting not even a third, not even a quarter of that money. Why? But if you're saying the economy is not right, but you can afford to pay 60,000 to this guy, why not the same value to this guy? Because you see, the whole night, our local guy will steal the show. So what should be done?
They'll even insist on putting that local guy because they know they are
yeah, like what I say, they know that they know how much you're worth, but they're not just willing to pay you for your services. What should be done?
That is a symptom of a much deeper problem with our culturation as black people and as Zimbabweans. Tine culture yekuda zvevamwe kufura zvedu.
Yeah.
So we're very quick to accept the Nigerian songs. Even usingatomonzwisisa kuti varikudi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're very quick to accept them, very quick to accept South African, but that's a new phenomenon. Kudara were very quick to accept American and British because colonization and all that. We are very keen on being associated with them and become, you feel like you are more sophisticated if you can speak better British English, or if you can, speak like 50 Cent to make an accent catching American or whatever. You know what I mean? That all feeds into this narrative. Yekuti now kanata kuunza munhu arubva ku Nigeria, we feel like that person has got so much value, muombe stereki, and yet we know that our own local act, Japraiser kana Winky D kana anounza more crowds kupfura munhu iye. But we are still willing to pay 60,000 for that person. It's a culture issue. It's not really a promoter's issue, or it's a culture issue. Once we start to know that accepting your own over the next is not promoting mediocrity, it's loving yourself.
Okay.
Here's another example. EPL, European Premier League, I think as well. People are more willing to accept Manchester United and buy their regalia and all that. Mario yo urukunoipa munhu usina ya usikatombozea anobhadhara 100,000 pounds a week. Asi wako we muno munhu ngirikini mkomani we Dynamos. You feel like no. Anatemu nomza kuri bhora. Tukuda izvi ana Chelsea ndoro zezwa urikuita. What's that?
Okay, so
ukaenda ku Manchester. Vanokuseka kuti you support Manchester United, you've never visited here.
Let me catch you there. Yeah. When you come on our third and final segment, we want you to share your lowest moments in life and how you managed to pick yourself, hence the name Rock Bottom. Stay tuned, we'll be right back on our third and final segment.
You've been here from the start of this road. You carry me. You've been here from the start of this road.
Welcome to our third and final segment. I'm still with Napster as the pod was heated up. But we could not even go for a break. So say, Rock Bottom is just a show that is designed to motivate through one's testimony.
Yeah.
Probably someone is really, you are a role model to a lot of people. Someone really aspiring to be you. But they need to know the journey that you took.
Yeah.
There were highs and lows. There were hurdles that were ahead. Would you care to share your lowest moments in life?
I think the easier ones to talk. Well, I've had low moments. Obviously, low moments of bereavement, low moments of just struggle in general. But one of my lowest moments was obviously when I lost my job, which was quite recent, maybe 2 years ago. And this was in an industry where I'd invested sweat, blood, and tears, And I lost my job, just like that. And a lot of people said to me, this was unfair, you should sue, all sorts of things. And it was difficult because I had to really, really get into introspection, get into time of prayer and seeking wisdom on how to deal with the situation, with the rock bottom that I'd hit. Losing employment is a difficult thing, especially because employment, the longer you stay in employment, the more comfortable you get with a monthly check. Entrepreneurship is the most difficult thing because there's no guarantee. So, personally, it's a stressful thing because now you're thinking rent, school fees, chikafu, chi. So it was difficult, but one of the things that I thank God the most about is I had the wisdom not to fight or antagonize the situation, because I quite understood what had happened and why it had happened. And I felt it was okay. I had peace with it. But something had to happen, and this is what happened. But that then helped me. The fact that there was no acrimony and there was no antagonization, even of the organization that I was working for at the time. Within 2 months, God had given me a new idea, a new endeavor. That's when the Radio Presenter Masterclass was born. And the first people I approached to support that were my former employers. And they were very happy. They were like, you are one of us. There was no, because even they, at that point, also felt like, you know what, this was a very mature and it was an easy separation. So I came back 2 months later. They were like, signed the memorandum. They're like, let's work together, And because they trusted me in that way, everywhere else that I went, people were like, your former employer is now your partner. How did that happen? Okay, they must see something in you, so we'll also partner. So they really helped me to then launch into what I've begun to do now. So it was a low moment, but I was picked up quite quickly.
What made you still believe? Like you said that if I were you, I would have probably gotten in a curve. How did you heal from understanding? Do you know what? This is what's on the ground. I need to move on. How did you do that?
I've a gentleman who trained me in radio, who was a mentor for a long time in radio, called Innocent Chuma. Innocent Chuma once said, and it really caught my attention. He once said, it's better to have 50 followers who are highly influential people than have 50,000 followers who are just fans. I thought, so he says, seek influence over popularity.
Okay, all right.
And in media, it's very easy to fall into the popularity trap of just wanting to be famous, be a celebrity for the sake of being a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is terrible, because not a celebrity, I broke out in bro.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I very early on started to seek influence. So I would relationships, I learned this from my pastor. Relationships are key to everything. Networking, always maintain relationships. So when I left, I had a soft landing because of the relationships that I'd created in my 7 years that I'd been in radio.
Yeah.
I'd
Power of
created
association,
strong relationships. Those people were the ones that started to call me and say, are you okay? Do you need anything? I even started to get job offers at that time, you know. And it's not because Zimbabwe but it was simply the relationships, and people felt, you know what, the one time we dealt with the radio station, this young man helped us quite well. He was very professional. He did this, and I be good to the people on your way up because you need them on your way down. Don't ever think because I'm a station manager. So no, I was not for it. What a station manager, Panama manager under you, and then
everyone else is reporting to
you. It's intoxicating, and you can get drunk on power and forget. You start to you start to think, what is this? My clients, I really don't care. You can take your business elsewhere, because what those are the things that will haunt you. You then go for an interview, you find that gardener, gardener that you used to say, what you find them on the other side of the desk interviewing you.
Do you know one thing that I learned just from you listening is the power of association. Surround yourself with people who are not just there because they are on a fame, the attention they are getting because Napoleon, but people who also add value to your career, who also add value to your life as a person. Because like you said, you landed on soft spots just because of those pillars.
Yes.
What teaching could you give to a whole lot of youths who are out there, in short?
Allow me to reiterate. Be good to the people on your way up because you need them on your way down. There are a lot of young people. Yesterday, I attended some awards and we were celebrating Aishan. Aishan won a lot of awards. He's a young man. This is his first year of fame. I would say to someone like that, be very humble and be very careful. Because fame has a best by date. It has an expiry date. So this is talking to creatives, young people in the creative space. Be very careful. Who's going to vouch for you and say, this person has integrity, this person is humble, this person has professionalism? Panofana with 2-3 people who can stand and say,
you know what? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I wish I could just have another hour, just you and me talk. But thank you so much for allowing us to get personal.
Great pleasure.
Thank you, Zimbabwe, for staying with us. You're watching Rock Bottom with Zolile Makeleni. Till we meet again, it's sharp.
You've been here from the start of this road. You carried me through some pretty bad times. Even when I fell down, you picked me up. Now I'm standing on the mountain and give you praise. Kwataba kure naye, kwatino enda kure naye, kwataba kure.